Hey guys, Nick here. Today I'm going to start off a little different, but just by mentioning that in my Discord, which I've just made, there's links below, and if needed, I can is posted in the description. I have a giveaway for a Zanbian outfit. So only a couple days left on it. So if you like this outfit in game, at the time of posting this video, you got a couple days left to enter the giveaway for the Zambian outfit, or what I like to call the onesie. It's quite unique. Some people don't. Some people love it. Some people hate it. I love it. I've been wearing it for years, and I've never taken it off. But I want to just talk about that for now. Okay, but we're going to segue into what this video is actually about, which is our must-have ground items. I say a must-have. I'm gonna separate this into sections. Sort of more of a ground build, methodology. So we're gonna start off with our kit modules section. So for kit modules, that's predominantly on the higher end ground builds that are elite capable. We are predominantly kit module focused. So kit modules which are also scaled from kit performance. So if we look at our kit performance is our main stat. So we'll jump back and go, with kit modules, generally we have in each build from tactical, engineering, and science, we have something that's going to give us some cooldown reduction. So most of the time we either have our much time device, sometimes we use our large kit overboost as a device, sometimes it's a combination of a few different things. Secondary, we have a control ability. When I say control, something that grabs, something that pulls, something that slows, something that brings everything together. Crowd control. So most of the time it's better with AoE damage and things controlled. So on this tactical build of mine, we run the gravity containment unit. This is a kit module that is very obtainable from our discovery rep, which is the same place we get our MUD's time device, which I'll be referencing the discovery rep many times because it's very good for ground. So we have our MUD's time device, we have our gravity containment unit, and while we're here, we're going to talk about as well, because that segues into another part. While we're here, we can mention it. We have our Burnham's CQC armor and our Burnham's CQC environmental suit, which is our BIS. When I say BIS, is our best in slot for tactical, engineering, and science ground builds. So some you might have like Romulan naval or some other, but I can tell you guys, for best bang for buck on a high end level, Burnham's armor from the discovery rep is where you want to go. So I'm going to jump back. We're going to look at our crowd control. We've got our gravity containment unit. On engineering, for just your day-to-day, we would run the Anchor of Grethel, which I'll show you later. And on science, we run, I'm not perfect, but I would run the Paradox Bomb from the Temporal Reputation, which when you get 27 points in Temporal Operative Specialization, we can buy Paradox Bomb 4. If we hover over it, we have a 20 meter. So it's minus 10 pull per second with foes within 20 meters. So that's quite a large AoE radius for everything to be pulled in to one point, and then you can drop some AoE damage and kill everything. So that's really good. Same as the Anchor of Grethel. I think the Anchor of Grethel is slightly less radius, but has a quicker pull in. So sometimes you might lose distance for speed. It's personal preference if you're on an engineer, but if you're on a science or a tactical and you want very large radius pull, we look at the Paradox Bomb. But we're going to move on now to kits. So kits, generally there's got a couple options. Say you're on a budget level, you don't have your summer items, so the Rising kit I would say is our best in slot for damage builds, or you can go really min-maxed. Say you drop a little bit of kit performance from our crit, we have our Delta Expedition Tactical Kit. So if you see here, it's got, this one's not rolled very well, but you see how it's got at the top crit severity, crit performance. So it's got some pretty bad modifiers, but this one could have 97 or 95.6 kit performance and 20% severity. So sometimes you might make that trade, but for your best bang for buck kit, we look at the Ryzian kit. That is from our summer store. So we'll jump over here to events, event store, summer event, and the Rising kit. So we look here, it's 1,000 Lolo nuts. And if you haven't heard of this, this is it's got the most kit performance you can get on any kit. And for 1,000 Lolo nuts, it's quite cheap. If you don't know how to re-roll this, you're gonna make sure if you buy this, you re-roll it straight away. So you don't upgrade it. You re-roll it first to K-Perf ×2, then you upgrade it, then you re-roll the last to K-Perf. I think it's ×4. I can double check for you here right now. So it's K-Perf ×3 and proc. You re-roll the first two, the K-Perf, you upgrade it, you get more K-Perf. Okay, so down below, the next section is body and EV suit. As Alyssa said before, best in slot, number one, and there's, I would say there's no competitor to take its slot right now as Alburnum's Eviana. So if we look through, we have our usual, our damage resistance ratings, we have a bit of health, maybe some run speed, but if we look about 2/3 in the down below, 10% crit chance and a 40% severity, which is what we're looking for. In the same as the armor and the EV suit, it both gets 10% crit chance, 40% severity, so which is great for our elite ground builds. And we're going to move down to our shields. Shields is the same as armor. Our best in slot, bar none, is the Na'Kul Temporal Operative Personal Shield, which if we read in the time slip section, summons a level 75 distortion for 10 seconds. You are immune to all damage and invisible to enemies while the distortion is active, which basically means, in layman's terms, it is a cheat death. You get killed instantly by like a mega sniper bolt. Time slip will proc, it'll slip off, you can heal up, and maybe you can kill the sniper, or you run off, or whatever, you heal up, whatever you need to do. So that basically is a cheat death. I don't actually know the cooldown of it, but on this build I can tell you I rarely die. Because between the shield and this kit module called Motivation, which is a heal and a damage buff, this build rarely dies, I can tell you that. I'm going to come down, so for our weapons, same sort of, this is across the board. For ground build methodology, you think we want something with a decent firing rate. We don't want something too slow. We don't want something that's too single target. We want something that's hard hitting, decent firing rate, decent AoE. So here we have our portable phaser cannon special issue from the Lobby store, which is, or aka the Shaxx cannon, which I think has one of the largest ranges in the game for a ground weapon, and has almost one of the hardest hits. So the combination is deadly. But if you say you don't like it or don't want it, we've got the old school disco phaser rifle or the assault squad phaser rifle. We have maybe a Tommy gun from the mission if you did that from, or the event, my bad, from several years back. An old school, just any auto rifle would do. I don't really, a plasma wide beam rifle. If anyone knows Casual SAV, he's a big fan of these. I was about to say fan. Sorry, been a long day for me, so it's if I miss a word here or there, forgive me. But yeah, plasma beam rifles are also really good. So there's endless choices, but my number one recommendation, the portable phaser cannon special issue from a Lobby store if it's in your budget, or a plasma wide beam if it's not, because those I believe are crafted. I'm about to sound like a doofus, probably am, and I was a split or wide beam pistol, but anyway, we're full autos are great. So I'm being a bit of a doofus. So, and our secondary weapon, so this is the same again on all builds. On all builds, you're going to run Na'Kul Shield, and on all builds, you are going to run the Na'Kul Temporal Operative Assault as your secondary weapon. And I'll show you why in a minute here. So we'll come to our more details. We're going to scroll down to our two-piece, which is the shield and the weapon. 2% crit chance, 30% severity for running the best in slot shield, and I would say it's a below average weapon, but you don't need the secondary weapon. You just use a primary weapon. So having a weapon that's going to give you 2% crit chance and 30% severity, but just sitting there, it's spectacular. So, guys, I'll show you the mission. I'm going to stuff this up, but I know where it is. We're in. It's future proof. Is it the temporal front? I didn't stuff it up. Shock horror, everybody. So we have our Na'Kul temporal operative shield and our Na'Kul temporal operative assault weapon. So best in slot for weapon, secondary weapon, best in slot for shield from a story mission. So if you don't have that, go and pick it up. Okay, when it comes to devices, it's, you know, sort of a bit lackluster on the higher end. We've got our ground combat pets, you know, we've got some hypos, but if you have the right build, hypos are kind of, they become a bit useless. But our number one for for personal use is the gambling device. So if you see here, win, good luck for 1 hour, 10% crit chance, 10% severity, 15 dodge. Lose, bad luck for 1 minute, so you get minus crit chance and minus severity, but I'll demonstrate it here for you. We'll click here. And if you ever watch DS9, we'll gamble, and if you see a little hand, I just move because it's a bit bugged, but I win, so I'll hover over here. For 1 hour, I have plus 10 crit chance and plus 10 severity. So for 50, I think it's 50 Lobi, or we can come to the exchange where you can actually buy it. And we go gambling, which device, my spelling's as great as ever, 6 million EC. So for some, it might be a lot, but if you save up for it, it's quite good for our ground combat. For others, you might spend the Lobi. I think it's, I might actually be, I think it might be less than 50 Lobi. So I'll pull out my Lobi, we'll have a look while we're here. And then after this, I'm going to jump to my tactical and my science. And we're going to look at devices. And we're going to look at our gambling device. So I was wrong. It is 30 Lobi. And on right now, it's on special for 20%. So we have 24 Lobi for our gambling device, which is 10% crit chance and 10% severity. So I'm going to put that back in my bank while I'm thinking about it. And we're going to jump over to my my Vanguard, Jem'Hadar Vanguard Engineer. So I'll highlight some engineering abilities, some engineering trickeries, and then we'll jump over to science. But predominantly, you know, our main pieces, our kit frame, our armor, our weapons are going to be the same along all our builds. It's our kit modules and maybe some of our, you know, our captain abilities. That's the only difference really. But we'll have a look. So sure, these look a little different, but we have our same. We have our control. We have our Delta kit frame, so I mentioned that before. Look, this is a better one. We have our kit performance, we have our crit chance, we have our weapon for proficiency, but that is a decent roll on a Delta kit frame. But for 99% of the people in this game, I would highly recommend, if you don't have the Rising kit frame from the Summer Store, to pick that one up, because for bang for your buck, it's unbeaten. But look, just quickly, yeah, we're Burnham's armor, our Na'Kul, our portable phaser cannon, our Shax cannon, our Na'Kul weapon, our gambling device. But for engineers, I recommend this sort of build. A Anchor of Grethor, our Gravitational Juncture, which is a pull, so applies to foes within 4.5 meters, pulls foes towards it. I run a mine build, so, well, this is Paradox Bomb, so this is sort of an ultra pull build. It's a little bit, you know, more unique, so I would run it more like this. So we're going to put in our Agony Field, and I'm going to put in, say, Baul Obelisk. So we pull them in, we would drop our mines, we would debuff, we'd pull them in, we'd debuff, we'd drop our mines, we would drop our Agony Field for AoE damage. So just say you've got like you're in Bug Hunt Elite, you have the skidders up in the ceiling, Agony Field will deal with them, and we have our Baul Obelisk to do big hits every few seconds to just one-shot something for us. Just go boof, and just destroy something. But and another note while I'm here is our DOFs. So this is as you can see, this is a ground toon. It has no space DOFs, and all of its goodies are into ground. So here is a biochemist. So most people probably don't, maybe not know of this. So if we can read here, our biochemist recharge time on stims, shield charges, and power cells to self 50% cooldown rate for 5 seconds. So basically, in theory, it's saying our large kit overbooster is on a half cooldown. So it's every 10 seconds, I can reduce my kit frames by 37.5%. So, yeah, we'll say we hit our, let's see, we'll hit our causal entanglement here. It goes off. I'm going to let it go on cooldown, or just to demonstrate. It's going to be 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now it's on cooldown. So look at 13, 12. I'm going to hit that. And it didn't do, there you go, boom, skipped ahead. So if you see how it was a few seconds there, and it skipped right ahead, at just by hitting the large kit overbooster, it's given me back several seconds of its cooldown, so then I can hit it again much quicker than I could have before. It looked a little lag, maybe server lag or something kicked in there. You never really know, but yeah. And another note for people who may want to get into ground combat a bit more seriously, this is your way to go on race. So if you really wanted a min-max ground combat, Jem'Hadar Vanguards are your go-to. One, they have I want to say the Romulan version of SRO for ground. I think it's called Engineered Soldier. Gives you, crit chance, crit severity. I think it's some melee damage. But the big part is Shroud. So Shroud is an innate Jem'Hadar thing. It is target self 300% bonus damage on your next attack, and I don't really know what the cooldown of that is. 1 minute. So every 1 minute you have a 300% bonus damage on your next attack. So say you pull everything in, you hit Shroud, and then you hit Mines. So Mines right now would do 4,000 damage to each target, and that's not even counting a crit. So if you got a crit on a Shroud, a shrouded up cloaked mine barrier, you might hit for 20, 30,000 to multiple targets that have all been pulled in, and I can tell you it is deadly. So yeah, that's our engineer build. We're going to jump to our science, which I'll wholeheartedly admit is my weakest side. So we're going to jump to my science. I'll just quickly run over. This one isn't up to date by any means. It's probably been several years since I've touched this character, but I'll just highlight some of the more old school kit frames. So yeah, same sort of mythology. We have our Burnham's armor. I didn't make the EV suit because I've been lazy. Our not cool 2-piece, our Shaxx cannon, our gambling device. This build has a control, so our Paradox bomb. We have some AoE damage in endothermic induction field, harmonic resonance, anti-time, cold fusion flash. And I went with medical tricorder because before I was too lazy to go and get the Knuckle shield. I just would spam bar a medical tricorder every few seconds because it's got a 3.8 second recharge, so it's 1000 HP every 3.8 seconds, which just gave me a lot of HP. And now I'm talking about it, I was about to wrap this video up. I've forgotten to mention probably the most broken kit module in this game by far. So I'm going to jump back to my main and I'm going to highlight it for you. It's in the summer store. It's called Ball Lightning. So now, as I was going to jump to my science, I realized I hadn't mentioned Ball Lightning. So anyone who's gotten all the way through this video, I'm going to say thank you, for actually getting all the way through this video, because I'm now looking down the timer and it's 19 minutes. Ball Lightning is, it may not look like it, but Ball Lightning is the most broken ground kit module in this game from the summer store. So same again as our Rising kit frame. We have our summer store, summer event, and we'll filter and we'll look up our Ball Lightning. Universal kit module, Ball Lightning, 1000 Lolo nuts is a must-have for generalized content for every build. Doesn't matter what you're doing, doesn't matter how you're building. Everybody, ball lightning, put it on your builds, because ball lightning is 100% a must-have item. That, if I can stress it again, if you don't get the Shaxx cannon, if you don't get the rising kit frame, you get the ball lightning first and foremost. First and foremost, ball lightning is what you want to pick up. So yeah, that will be it for everyone today. If anyone's got any questions, comments, please leave them down below. But if you have made it all this way, thank you very much. Can you please like? If you have a comment down below. And if you've enjoyed my content and my other videos, please subscribe down below. It is very helpful to me growing as a new YouTuber, so I would appreciate it greatly. And so that will be it all for today. That will be all. This is Nick, and we'll see you all around in Star Trek Online.